The *SS Vanguard * drifted into the crowded docking bay of the Threlian spaceport, its once proud hull now a patchwork of repairs and scars. Captain Alina Reyes stood at the bridge, staring out at the bustling scene beyond the viewport. Sleek, alien vessels glided effortlessly past, their shimmering exteriors a stark contrast to her ship's battered form. Inside her chest, a mix of pride and frustration swirled. Today was not just another day. It was the day she would confront the galaxy's most powerful leaders. The council chamber was a grand spectacle of light and technology, filled with representatives from the most advanced civilizations. Reyes walked through the arched entrance, flanked by her crew, each one brimming with apprehension. She had heard the whispers of contempt as they made their way to their seats, their whispers like daggers, cutting deeper than the *Vanguard*'s worst wounds. "Behold the human warship," sneered General Xylath, a towering figure with luminescent skin and eyes like burning coals. His voice echoed through the chamber, dripping with derision. The so-called SS Vanguard. How quaint. Laughter erupted from the assembly, a wave of mockery that crashed over Reyes like icy water. She clenched her fists, determined to maintain her composure. This was not just about her ship. It was about humanity's place among the stars. An alien diplomat leaned forward, a look of feigned curiosity on his angular face. "Tell us, Captain Reyes, what innovations have you brought to the fleet? Surely you have something to impress us." Reyes felt the heat rise in her cheeks, but forced herself to respond with measured calm. "We've implemented new strategies focusing on unconventional warfare and agility." "Which? Agility?" Xylath interrupted, his laughter rolling through the chamber once more. "With a vessel that's seen more battles than you have years. Please, spare us the embarrassment." Reyes took a breath, a fierce determination settling in her core. "I challenge you to a simulation. Let us see if the *Vanguard* is truly as inept as you claim." The room fell silent. General Xylath, taken aback, narrowed his eyes. "A simulation? You wish to test your rusted warship against my fleet's finest." "I do," Reyes replied, her voice steady and defiant. "If we lose, I'll concede our fleet status. But if we win, you must acknowledge the capabilities of humanity." Laughter subsided, replaced by a tense intrigue. A few members of the council exchanged glances, contemplating the implications. Finally, the general nodded, a sinister smile spreading across his face. "Very well. Prepare for your humiliation." As the council adjourned, Reyes returned to the *Vanguard*, her heart pounding with a mixture of dread and exhilaration. She gathered her crew in the war room, their faces reflecting a blend of anxiety and determination. "This is our chance," she began, scanning their faces. "We know our ship's limitations, but we also know its strengths. We might not have the firepower, but we have something they don't: creativity and resolve. We can use the environment to our advantage." "Do you really think we can turn this around?" asked Ensign Lewis, his brow furrowed with doubt. Reyes nodded, her voice unwavering. "We will show them that human ingenuity can outsmart brute force. Together, we will reclaim our honor." As the crew set to work, Reyes felt the familiar spark of hope igniting within her. She knew the stakes were high, but so was the potential for victory. In that moment, the *Vanguard* wasn't just a ship. It was a testament to humanity's spirit, and they would prove, once and for all, that being underestimated could be their greatest weapon. The *Vanguard* hummed with a nervous energy as Reyes and her crew prepared for the upcoming simulation. Tension crackled through the air like static electricity. Engineers scurried around the bridge, double-checking systems, while tactical officers plotted maneuvers on the holo-display. Reyes stood at the command center, her heart racing, torn between the pressure of proving themselves and the looming uncertainty of the fight ahead. As the simulation began, the bridge lit up with the flashing lights of combat readiness. The crew took their positions, adrenaline coursing through their veins. On the main screen, a representation of Xylat's fleet appeared, a menacing formation of sleek warships poised to strike. Deploying simulated engagement protocols, Ensign Tanaka reported, his fingers flying over the controls. We're entering the simulated battle zone now. The hum of the Vanguard shifted, vibrating with a palpable sense of tension. Rise gripped the edge of her command chair, willing her mind to focus. The enemy ships blinked ominously as they engaged, and Rise initiated evasive maneuvers. Stay agile, everyone. They'll try to box us in. The first shots rang out, virtual energy bolts splashing against the Vanguard shields. The crew shouted commands, their voices mingling in a cacophony of determination. Rise directed them through a series of evasive maneuvers, narrowly dodging the oncoming fire. But despite their efforts, the Vanguard was no match for the superior technology and tactics of the alien fleet. Shields at 60%, shouted Lieutenant Collins, his voice strained. We can't take much more of this. Redirect power to the forward shields. Rise ordered, frustration bubbling within her. She glanced at the enemy fleet, their precision and coordination painfully evident. Her crew was skilled, but their ship was outclassed. As the simulation continued, Xylat's forces pressed their advantage. The Vanguard was struck by several more energy blasts, and the lights flickered ominously. Rise felt her heart drop. This was it, the moment they would be dismissed. Their fight deemed futile. Suddenly, an alarm blared. The communications officer's voice broke through the din of battle. Captain, we're receiving a distress signal from the Outer Rim, a human colony under attack. A collective gasp echoed through the bridge. Raya's heart raced. What's the source? Alien ships, coalition forces. They're overwhelming the defenses. The officer replied, urgency etched on their face. Rise looked around the bridge, the weight of the situation sinking in. Here they were, facing the humiliation of defeat in a simulation while a human settlement was in peril. A surge of adrenaline fueled her resolve. We can't abandon them. All crew members, prepare for immediate departure. Captain, we can't just leave. Collins protested. What about the simulation? What about our standing? Rise met his gaze, her eyes blazing. This isn't just a simulation. It's a human colony under attack. Our people are in danger. We have to act. Her crew exchanged determined glances, their fears quickly overshadowed by a sense of purpose. The Vanguard engines roared to life as Reyes took control. We will be heroes today, not just in a simulation but in real life. Engage all systems, plot a course for the colony. As they surged into the depths of space, Rise felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. The Vanguard might be seen as inferior, but she knew the heart of her crew was strong. They were fighting not just for their ship, but for their people, and that was a cause worth fighting for. The galaxy may dismiss them as inept, but today they would redefine what it meant to be human among the stars. Hold on tight, everyone. We're going to give them hell. Rise shouted, her voice ringing with conviction as the stars blurred into streaks of light around them. The Vanguard sliced through the void, engines roaring as they approached the coordinates of the beleaguered colony. Rise stood at the command center, her heart pounding. The familiar hum of her ship felt like a battle cry as they neared the distress signal, the urgency of their mission filling every crevice of the bridge. ETA 2 minutes. Ensign Tanaka reported, eyes glued to the readout. We're picking up some distress signals from ground forces. It's chaos down there. Reyes felt a knot form in her stomach. What's the status of their defenses? Minimal, Collins replied, grimacing as he studied the incoming data. The alien coalition has already breached their outer perimeter. They're targeting civilian shelters and supply depots. Switch to tactical view, Rise commanded, her mind racing. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a holographic display of the colony. She could see the swirling chaos, alien ships darting like predators above, unleashing fire on the beleaguered human settlements below. A wave of anger surged through her. We can't just observe this. We have to intervene. Captain, with the Coalition's numbers, we'll be outgunned, Collins warned. This isn't like the simulation. We can't afford to be reckless. We have to act quickly, Rise insisted, her jaw set in determination. Let's gather intel. We need to identify their command structure and disrupt it. We might not have the firepower, but we can outsmart them. As they homed in on the battlefield, the crew worked furiously to devise a plan. Rise directed them to use the colony's terrain to their advantage, suggesting they utilize the nearby mountain ranges for cover and possible ambush points. Suddenly, a frantic transmission crackled over the comms. Vanguard, this is Colony Command. We're being overrun. We need immediate assistance. Patch us through, Rise shouted, urgency gripping her voice. The shaky image of Colonel Harris appeared on the screen, sweat glistening on his brow. Vanguard, we're losing civilians. We can't hold them off for much longer. Colonel, we're en route. Keep your defenses up. We'll create a diversion. Rise promised, determination burning in her chest. Diversion? How? You're outnumbered, Harris protested. Raya's eyes narrowed, a plan forming in her mind. We may be outnumbered, but we can use that against them. Trust us. We'll come for you. Just hurry, he replied, desperation evident. As they cut the transmission, Rise turned to her crew, their faces a mix of fear and resolve. We're not just fighting for our ship. We're fighting for lives. We'll split our forces. A small team will head to the command center to disrupt their operations, while the Vanguard creates a distraction. Distraction, Tanaka echoed. Skepticism etched on his face. How do we distract an entire fleet? Rise glanced at the mountain range on the tactical display. We'll use the terrain. We'll engage with hit-and-run tactics, drawing them away from the colony. Once we've created enough confusion, our ground team will strike. The crew nodded, adrenaline pumping as they understood the gravity of their mission. They quickly assembled a team of volunteers, ready to brave the enemy lines. Get ready for an unpredictable fight, Rise warned. This is our chance to show them what we can do. We're not just a rusty warship. We're a force to be reckoned with. As they prepped for battle, Rise felt a surge of pride. This crew, once mocked for their ship's inferiority, now stood united in purpose. They were ready to confront the overwhelming odds and face the Coalition head-on. Let's show them what humanity is made of, Rise declared, her voice firm and unwavering. Engage at will. With that, the Vanguard plunged into the fray, the heart of the ship beating in rhythm with the determination of her crew. As they approached the battlefield, Rise knew they were about to write a new chapter in their story, one that would redefine the fate of humanity in the cosmos. The Vanguard skimmed low over the rugged terrain, the mountains rising majestically around them, providing a natural shield against the Coalition's watchful eyes. Rise could feel the ship's hull vibrating as they hugged the cliffs, every ounce of her being focused on the mission ahead. Activate jamming systems, she commanded, her voice steady amid the chaos. We need to disrupt their communications and keep them guessing. As the crew sprang into action, the tactical display flickered with updates. Alien vessels patrolled the skies, but now they were flying blind. The Coalition's coordination faltered as their communication lines went dark, confusion rippling through their ranks. Enemy ships are scrambling, Tanaka reported, excitement tinging his voice. They're losing formation. Rise seized the moment. Now, execute the hit-and-run strategy. Target their flanks. We'll create as much disruption as possible. The Vanguard rocketed forward, a streak of defiance against the backdrop of looming mountains. Rise maneuvered through narrow passes, using the terrain to her advantage. With every turn, she felt the thrill of the chase and the weight of responsibility blend into a singular focus. Firing main cannons. Collins shouted, his fingers dancing over the controls. Energy bolts shot forth, striking one of the coalition ships. The enemy vessel erupted in a shower of sparks, careening into its neighbor. Rise could hardly suppress a grin as chaos unfolded around them. Adjust our trajectory. Rise commanded, her heart racing. We need to hit them where it hurts. As they navigated deeper into the fray, the crew worked in perfect sync, their fear melting into adrenaline-fueled determination. The Vanguard darted through enemy lines, drawing fire away from the colony while providing cover for the ground team. Rice could see the coalition ships turning their attention toward her, their blasters flaring in response. "Captain, they're targeting us," Tanaka shouted, urgency creeping into his voice. "Evasive maneuvers. Prepare for incoming fire." Rice barked, her heart pounding. The ship lurched as energy blasts whizzed past, narrowly missing the hull. "Shields holding at 70%. Collins reported, but Race could see the readings fluctuating as their defenses strained under the assault. "Keep us moving," she urged, pushing the Vanguard to its limits. "We can't let them get a lock on us." As the crew executed their maneuvers, Reyes caught a glimpse of their ground team, now on the surface, navigating through the chaos toward the Coalition's command center. She felt a surge of pride. They were making a difference. "Captain, we've got incoming reinforcements from the Coalition," Tanaka warned, his eyes widening. "They're deploying more ships. Prepare for a rapid retreat back into the mountains," Rise ordered. "We can't afford to engage them head-on." Just as they were about to retreat, an explosion rocked the Vanguard. The ship shuddered violently, alarms blaring as the lights flickered. Rise fought to maintain control, her instincts kicking in. "Damage report," she shouted. "Starboard shields are down to 40%. Collins yelled, scrambling to stabilize their systems. "We've lost power to the aft engines. Reinforce the remaining shields." Rise commanded, her mind racing. "We need to hold until our ground team can complete their mission." As the battle raged, the tension in the air thickened. Rise felt the weight of every decision, each moment pressing down on her. Would they be able to secure victory for the colony? She couldn't shake the gnawing fear that failure would mean more than just defeat. It would mean lives lost. Enemy ship closing in. Tanaka shouted, "They're targeting our engines. Prepare to counterfire." Rise barked, adrenaline surging through her veins. "Let's show them what we're made of." With a deep breath, she pressed the throttle forward, directing the Vanguard into the heart of the fray once more. The stakes had never been higher, but they were determined to carve a path through the chaos. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for a future. As the Vanguard engaged the enemy, Rise knew they were ready to spill their first blood in this battle, a decisive moment that would echo throughout the galaxy. The Vanguard surged into the fray, energy beams lancing from its turrets, striking the nearest coalition ship. Rise felt the rush of exhilaration mixed with adrenaline as their retaliation began. "We've got their attention," she shouted, her voice ringing with determination. "Shields holding at 30%. Collins reported, sweat beading on his brow. "We're taking hits, but we're still in the game. Keep it steady. Aim for their engines." Rise commanded, gripping her chair as the ship rocked from another blast. The crew's energy was palpable. They were no longer just a crew. They were a family, united in this moment of peril. The Vanguard dodged and weaved through the chaotic battlefield, moving with a grace that belied its battered exterior. Rise watched as the Coalition's ships, now frantically maneuvering to regain control, struggled to keep up with the human warship's agile tactics. "Captain, we're outnumbered," Tanaka yelled, his fingers flying over the controls. 3 enemy vessels are closing in fast. "Divert power to forward shields." Rise ordered, "Prepare to fire at will." The tactical display showed an enemy ship closing in, its weapons primed. Rise felt a surge of anger and resolve. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine. Fire. The Vanguard cannons unleashed a volley of energy bolts, striking true. The enemy vessel erupted into a dazzling explosion, sending debris spinning into space. Rise felt a rush of triumph, but it was short-lived as more coalition ships adjusted their course. Another ship is targeting us. Tanaka shouted, urgency flooding his voice. They're locking on. Evasive maneuvers. Rise commanded, adrenaline spiking. The ship lurched as she veered to the left, narrowly dodging a powerful energy beam that streaked past them, illuminating the dark void. Keep us moving. Shields at 20%. Collins called, tension thick in the air. We can't take many more hits like that. Reinforce all remaining power to the shields. Rise shouted, determination hardening in her voice. We've come too far to back down now. As they fought to regain control, Rise glanced at the tactical display, her mind racing. They needed a new strategy. Can we get a lock on their command ship? Tanaka's eyes widened. We could, but we'd have to maneuver close to their lines. It's risky. Risky is what we need right now. Rise replied, her heart pounding. If we take out their command ship, it could disrupt their entire operation. Understood. Tanaka responded, determination igniting in his eyes. The crew worked in unison, adjusting their course toward the coalition's flagship, which loomed large in the distance, a dark behemoth against the starry backdrop. Engaging afterburners, Collins announced, and the Vanguard surged forward, the engines roaring to life. They plunged into the heart of the coalition fleet, dodging fire as they drew closer to their target. The enemy ships swarmed around them, and Rice felt the tension mount. Steady. We can't let fear dictate our actions. She encouraged, her voice steady. We're here to prove ourselves. Just then, an enemy vessel broke away from the pack, aiming directly for them. Incoming fire, Tanaka shouted. Braced for impact. Rice yelled, adrenaline surging as the Vanguard braced for the onslaught. The ship shuddered as energy bolts struck their shields, a violent reminder of the danger surrounding them. Shields at 10%. We're losing power. Collins shouted, panic creeping into his voice. Hold steady. Rice barked, her determination unwavering. We're not finished yet. With a fierce resolve, she pressed the attack, directing the Vanguard straight toward the command ship. The flagship's defenses were formidable, but with their shields waning and their crew united, they had no choice but to go all in. Now, target the command ship's weapon systems, Rice commanded. This is our moment. The Vanguard unleashed a final barrage, energy beams streaking toward the flagship. The impact was immediate. Explosions erupted on the enemy ship as it struggled to maintain its integrity. Rice felt a rush of triumph as they scored a critical hit. Direct hit on their weapons. Tanaka shouted, exhilaration breaking through the tension. They're taking heavy damage. But just as hope surged, a new wave of coalition ships surged forward, their weapons ready to retaliate. Rice steeled herself, knowing they were in the fight of their lives. But this time, they had the upper hand. Let's finish this, she declared, determination blazing in her eyes. The Vanguard and her crew were ready to carve their names into history, proving once and for all that humanity would not back down in the face of overwhelming odds. The battlefield raged around them, a swirling vortex of fire and chaos. The Vanguard rocked as it weaved through enemy fire, dodging blasts that erupted in brilliant bursts against the backdrop of space. Rice felt her heart pound as adrenaline coursed through her veins. They had taken out the enemy command ship, but the coalition was far from defeated. Captain, they're regrouping, Tanaka shouted, his eyes darting across the tactical display. We need to pull back and reassess. Not yet, Rice replied, determination etched on her face. We can't give them a chance to recover. We need to capitalize on this momentum. Let's draw them into the mountain passes. Understood. Setting course for the canyon. Collins called, rapidly inputting commands. As the Vanguard navigated toward the towering cliffs, Reyes could see the coalition vessels beginning to regroup, their formation tightening like a noose around the remaining human forces. They had to disrupt this pattern. It was their only chance. Prepare for a tight formation, Reyes instructed. We'll use the canyons to funnel them into our path. We need to isolate and pick them off one by one. The crew nodded, the resolve in their eyes matching her own. As they plunged into the narrow canyons, the rocky walls towering above them, Reyes felt a surge of hope. They were maneuverable in a way the coalition ships weren't. This was their territory. Look out! Tanaka shouted, pointing at a squadron of enemy ships barreling toward them. They're on our tail. Evasive maneuvers. Reyes commanded, adrenaline sharpening her senses. The Vanguard veered sharply, hugging the canyon walls as they dodged incoming fire. A barrage of energy bolts slammed against the cliffs, sending debris cascading down around them. Keep it tight. Use the terrain, Reyes shouted, her voice cutting through the cacophony. They can't follow us into the tight spots. As they plunged deeper into the canyons, the coalition ships struggled to maintain formation, losing their advantage. Reyes could see the enemy vessels beginning to separate, and she seized the moment. Now, split the formations, she ordered, and the crew sprang into action, targeting the isolated ships. The Vanguard fired, energy beams striking true as chaos unfolded among the coalition ranks. Direct hit, Collins shouted, excitement breaking through the tension. One ship down. But the victory was short-lived. More coalition ships emerged from the depths of the canyon, their weapons primed. Reyes felt the weight of urgency pressing down on her. They needed to keep the pressure on. Tanaka, reroute power from non-essential systems to weapons, she ordered, determination hardening her voice. Doing it now, Tanaka replied, fingers flying over the controls. As the Vanguard surged forward, energy beams erupted from its cannons, striking another coalition ship. The crew cheered, but Reyes couldn't afford to let her guard down. The coalition was regrouping, and they were becoming more organized. Enemy ships are closing in, Collins shouted, panic rising in his voice. They've adapted to our tactics. Then we need to change ours, Reyes said, her mind racing. Let's pull back and draw them further into the canyon. We'll set a trap. The crew worked quickly, following her lead. They lured the coalition ships deeper into the narrow corridors of the canyon, expertly navigating the treacherous terrain. Reyes could feel the tension in the air, the anticipation thick as they prepared for their final strike. Now, turn and fire, Reyes commanded as they reached a narrow opening flanked by sheer rock walls. The Vanguard spun, firing at full strength. Energy bolts cascaded through the air, striking the coalition vessels as they barreled into the ambush. The chaos was overwhelming, and Reyes felt a surge of exhilaration as her crew executed their plan flawlessly. 2 more down, Collins called, a grin breaking through his tension. They're scattering. But Reyes knew they couldn't let up. Keep the pressure on. We can't let them regroup. The canyon echoed with the sounds of battle as they pressed their advantage. With each coalition ship that fell, hope surged within the crew. They were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for their people, their homes, and their place in the galaxy. As the last of the coalition vessels flowed into the void, Reyes took a moment to breathe, relief flooding her. We did it, she said, her voice almost a whisper. We turned the tide. But just as hope began to bloom, a chilling transmission crackled over the comms. This is Commander Vrex of the Coalition Fleet. You may have won this skirmish, but you will not escape the wrath of our forces. Reyes felt a chill run down her spine. What's happening? She asked, urgency creeping back into her voice. More ships are en route, Captain, Tanaka reported, his brow furrowed. We need to prepare for their arrival. As the coalition ships loomed larger in the viewport, the tension on the Vanguard reached a fever pitch. Rice felt every heartbeat echoing in her ears, a rhythmic reminder of the stakes they faced. This was it, the culmination of their struggle, and she would not back down. Enemy ships on approach. Tanaka shouted, his fingers racing over the console. They're coming in fast, but we're ready for them. Hold steady, Rice commanded, her voice unwavering. Once they're within range, initiate the automated turrets and prepare to fire on my mark. The Vanguard positioned itself at the canyon entrance, the towering walls creating a natural trap. As the coalition vessels swept closer, Reyes could see their formations break apart, the enemy desperate to outmaneuver them. It was a calculated risk, but she trusted her instincts. Now, she yelled, adrenaline surging. Engage. The Vanguard unleashed a torrent of energy bolts, and the automated turrets sprang to life, firing with precision. The canyon erupted into chaos as beams of light crisscrossed through the air, striking the enemy ships. Explosions rocked the coalition fleet, and the shockwaves reverberated through the canyon walls. Direct hits on multiple vessels, Collins reported, exhilaration radiating from him. They're disoriented. Keep it coming. Don't let up. Rise urged, her eyes fixed on the display. The enemy ships were scattering, but she needed them to feel the pressure. Target their engines, disable them. The crew responded with precision, firing at will, the Vanguard moving like a dancer through the chaos. Rice felt a rush of hope as one coalition ship after another was hit, their destruction sending ripples of victory through her crew. But just as the tide began to turn, a warning blared across the bridge. Captain, heavy reinforcements detected, more coalition ships entering the sector. Reyes's heart sank. How many? Too many to count, Tanaka replied, urgency clear in his voice. They're coming in waves. Redirect power to the shields. We need to hold. Rice commanded, her mind racing. They had to endure until the ground team secured the command center. Shields holding at 40%, but they won't last against that kind of firepower. Collins warned, sweat trickling down his brow. We need a new plan. Pull back deeper into the canyon. Rice ordered. Use the terrain to shield us from their fire. We'll create a choke point. The Vanguard maneuvered through the twisting passages of the canyon, the crew working in unison, their faces a mix of determination and fear. Rice could feel the pressure mounting, but she refused to let despair seep in. They had fought too hard to falter now. Here they come, Tanaka shouted as the enemy fleet poured into the canyon behind them, their weapons blazing. Prepare for a defensive stance, Rice commanded. We'll use the canyon walls to our advantage. Stay focused. As the enemy ships closed in, Rice braced herself for the onslaught. Energy bolts flew in all directions, striking the walls and creating clouds of dust and debris. The Vanguard rocked under the barrage, but they pressed on, returning fire with everything they had. Shields at 20%. Collins cried out, urgency escalating. We can't take much more. Just hold on. Ray shouted. We can't let them break through. In that moment, a surge of energy ignited within her. They were not just a ship. They were a symbol of resilience. Rise locked eyes with her crew, each of them fighting for their lives and their future. Now, take out their flagship, she commanded, pointing toward the massive ship leading the coalition charge. That's our target. With a renewed sense of purpose, the Vanguard unleashed a concentrated blast at the flagship, the energy beams slicing through the chaos. The impact was explosive, and the enemy ship faltered, taking heavy damage. Direct hit. They're losing control, Tanaka shouted, exhilaration flooding his voice. Let's finish this, Rice yelled, her heart racing. Press the attack. The Vanguard surged forward, cutting through the ranks of coalition ships, the crew working like a well-oiled machine. Explosions erupted all around them, and Rice could see the fear beginning to spread among the enemy ranks. "Keep pushing," she shouted. "We are humanity. We will not be defeated." As the last remnants of the coalition fleet began to scatter, Rice felt a wave of relief wash over her. They had done it. They had turned the tide and fought back against overwhelming odds. With the coalition forces in retreat, Rice took a moment to breathe, allowing the enormity of their victory to settle in. "We did it," she said, her voice filled with awe. Cheers erupted from the crew, and Rice felt a surge of pride swell within her. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. As they celebrated, Rice knew this battle would be remembered, a testament to humanity's resilience and courage in the face of adversity. As the Vanguard drifted through the aftermath of the battle, Rice felt a sense of hope ignite within her. This was just the beginning. Together, they would chart a new course among the stars, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.